All right, we're going to talk about the male reproductive system. Right. In order for us to get started, I want to go back to our endocrine lecture. Right. In the endocrine system, you learned that the brain has the hypothalamus, which is close to the anterior portion, and the hypothalamus controls the pituitary. Specifically, we're going to be interested in the hypothalamus controlling the anterior pituitary, right? And the anterior pituitary will release hormones called FSH and LH, also known as gonadotropins. Well, what are gonadotropins? If you look at the term gonadotropins, gonado means gonads, right? Meaning your testes or your ovaries, depending on whether or not you're male or female. And tropic means to affect, right? So which hormones are we talking about released from the anterior pituitary? It is FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Right, so it's right over here. And notice if you are a male, you are going to bind onto receptors around the testes. If you are female, you're going to bind onto receptors within the ovaries. Let's go back over here. Here's another diagram for you where the hypothalamus, which is in blue, will release chemicals, right? Or it's going to release some hormones which control the anterior pituitary, which is in green, right? Quick reminder, your pituitary gland is also known as your master endocrine gland, right? And what is an endocrine gland? An endocrine gland is a gland that secretes chemicals called hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers that travel within the bloodstream. Right. Let's look specifically at the anterior pituitary. It releases FSH. FSH will bind onto Sertoli cells of the testicles, causing Sertoli cells to produce sperm. If you are female, FSH will bind onto what you call an ovarian follicle cell within the ovaries and cause secretion of estrogen. Remember, tropic hormones, also known as indirect hormones, cause the release. Let me take a step back. The FSH will bind onto some organ and it's going to cause the release of some other chemical before there's actually a major physiological endpoint effect. In other words, FSH causes the Sertoli cells of the testicles to release sperm. FSH causes the ovarian follicles to release estrogen. Right? And if we look carefully over here, luteinizing hormone does something very similar. Right? Luteinizing hormone will also cause the testes, this time they're the Leydig cells, to release testosterone into the bloodstream. If you are a female, it's going to cause the follicular cells of the ovaries to secrete another hormone called progesterone. All right, and the function of testosterone, right, there's three major functions I want you to know. Number one, it increases masculinity. In other words, they're going to increase the secondary sex characteristics of males. It's going to increase your libido if you're a male. That's the sex drive. And it's going to increase anabolism. Anabolism means to build, right? Where did you hear about anabolism? For example, anabolic steroids. That causes the building, right? So it's going to cause it's going to cause increased mass size of males.